Right, obviously, you know Richard Lewis himself has cannibalised his own stories to do all this great content and all the great anecdotes over the years. So look, spoiler, he's put all the stories out himself, don't worry, but I want to get your take. You got to see, because of CGS, like almost like origin era fucking Richard Lewis. Like this is like in the comic book story, like the start of the guy. Like, and funnily enough, back then, if people don't know, like it's sad because people would think now, like, oh, now he's just like an outrageous figure, and people think he's weird. No, like that's just idiots on the internet. Like now he is a legendary figure who's like established himself. He's the godfather of esports journal, all that jazz. But back then, he was kind of a bit of a wild figure, right? He was a wild boy back then, was Richard. Come on, give me some stories. You must know. You must have something you can tell me.
Yeah, I've seen him do some wild stuff. There's pictures. There was back in the day. I won't embarrass him too much, but he was basically a young buck, a wild, up and coming like journalist figure, who again was a nice guy. But this was pretty normal back in the day. If someone wrote something negative about you or your team on like Deserto, or not Deserto, that didn't exist back then, but on Cadred or HalfLifeTV.org or whatever, you'd basically have a sissy fit. So hissy fit, I should say. I remember Richard writing a scathing report about like a transfer we did. I can't remember what it was, but I made a point of basically telling his boss, I really don't want to talk to this guy again. It was very dramatic.
Okay. You had like a little vendetta or something. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I'm not entertaining anything Richard Lewis has to say again. And I just remember feeling it was so immature of me to do that, because it obviously got back to Richard and it caused animosity. That I remember inviting him, because at the time we launched Power Gaming, which is a team which was backed by a VC. And when I say VC, it's just a rich guy.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
We had a launch party in Reading near the I-Series, and I invited him out there and basically gave him a groveling apology. So we made up, but it was well back in those days. And he went from there. He is now the grandfather of esports. I've literally, I know it's very boring for your viewers. I've got nothing bad to say about anybody. Like I'm like the Switzerland in the esports landscape. I'm very neutral, but we had our issues back in the day. He would say stuff that I disagree with, and he would sensationalize some stuff and make it out to be way worse than it actually was for views and whatnot. You're talking about 2004, 2005, 2006. But yeah, I realized that I'd made an error in being like, I'm blackballing him. I don't want to talk to him, because I made up for it 3 months later. But no, he is a wild guy. Been out drinking with him many, many times. He used to live in Birmingham too, and so did I. Oh, yeah. So that had a part to play in it. And the last time, when CGS was on, if I remember, I think he was working for a mega sector at the time.
Yeah, he did at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was, because I remember that we had the CGS qualifiers in Birmingham, which was like the EU qualifier. And he was part reporting, part being like a technical guy, if I remember, like, because it was basically his space that he'd rented out. But look, I don't know where I'm going with this. Nice guy. I haven't got any amusing stories. Right. And if I had, they're buried deep in my head, in my memory. Okay. I've compressed the memories. But nothing bad to say. Great guy. Sorry.
It's all good. See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.